I do not believe that a high quality man seeks to spend his life sleeping and entertaining multiple women in his life. And I know that is contrary to a lot of the opinions that you'll hear on the Fresh and Fit podcast. And perhaps on some of Andrew Tate's videos. I believe this rhetoric is poisonous. I believe it will have you feeling hollow, empty, dissatisfied, and spiraling down a rabbit hole of depression very, very quickly. I don't believe these men have your best interests at heart. I really don't. I believe that something a lot more fulfilling would be to entertain a different narrative, one that is centered around God and family. But God and family doesn't really, might not be superficially attractive as some of the things that some of these particular individuals share with you. So I wanted to share something a little bit more wholesome today. And this is predicated on the idea that if you want to detail out your future, you have to be very careful about the events or the actions that you entertain in the past, right? History has a very poetic way of dictating what happens in the future. Cue the title of this video is Sleeping with Multiple Women is Good Practice If You Want to Be Married, Then Divorced. So the red pill narrative, we've already touched upon it slightly here, but there is this very poisonous idea that you need to be considered if you want to be considered higher value, you need to have slept with multiple women. There's this idea that I'm sure that you'll be typing in the comments, a lock that is unlocked by multiple keys is a poor lock. You know what that's analogous to, and a key that can unlock multiple locks is a high quality key. There perhaps can be some value in there. Of course, I don't think I need to convince you as a man that the dating market is broken at the moment, and you need to be particularly savvy in your approach game, in your dress sense, in some of the inherent genetic characteristics that all of us wish we could inherit, being 6'4", having a square chiseled jaw, and six-figure income, perhaps from mummy and daddy. So it's difficult. But I want to introduce to you my theory, my masculine theory. I believe that high quality men are men who have the capacity to sleep with multiple women, but do not do that. I believe that high quality men recognize that it is far too easy to repeat a behavior once it has already been done. Now, for the individuals that are telling you that for you to be considered high quality, you need to go out there, you need to approach multiple women, you have to date multiple women, you have to sleep with multiple women, I would have you pause. I would have you pause because once you get in a pattern of that kind of behavior, it is going to greatly be easier for you to go down the path of least resistance, especially if you are hoping on monogamy, hoping on family, hoping on God in the future. I really don't believe that promiscuity is a good practice for loyalty and honesty. But it really depends on your future goals with women. I am not an ideologue. Of course, I have my own personal preferences, what I believe will bring you joy in your life. I've done the promiscuity thing. At university, I wasn't particularly, in secondary school, I wasn't particularly attractive. I had very, very bad acne. I was very anxious around women. And then when I got to university, once I'd been lifting in the gym and I had a little bit of confidence and I had a couple, good relationships under my belt, I went down that rabbit hole, down that fresh and fit Andrew Tate rabbit hole of being this very, promiscuous fuckboy archetype, I suppose you can say it. And it was entertaining, it was pleasurable, but it wasn't fulfilling. It left me hollow, like I prefaced. But maybe you have that lesson to learn. I'm not going to convince you, you need to do it yourself. So a lot of men are going to be in this category, I believe, because they're watching these podcasts and they're deluded into thinking that using other people to masturbate with is going to bring them some kind of value. So if you want pleasure and novelty, of course, sleep with multiple women. Seek women environments where inhibitions are low. Go to the bars, go to the clubs, go to these kind of places where people are taking drugs in order to inhibit themselves against their own logic and safety. Yeah, it's funny how promiscuity and drugs are so closely related now. Yeah. Speaking of the morality of things. Use dating apps where the number one focus is validation and promiscuity. I did a video a couple of months ago about this idea that Tinder's main purpose is to serve for self-validation and mixing sexual fluids with multiple different people. Breeding ground for disease, some may call it. Date multiple women at one time. Spin plates, as Rollo Tomasi would say. Again, I think you can maybe have a sensitivity of what my feeling is towards that. And I think once you... This really is boy psychology, in my opinion here. I don't believe there's anything inherently or morally wrong with it. I just believe you get to a point in time where, once you keep eating sweets, you just become sick of them. Like a child will eat, if you give a child a bag of sweets, they'll eat them till they get sick. Like they don't know what to do. They're very, very immature. They haven't kind of developed. And then once you kind of mature to adulthood, you recognize that, there's, too much pleasure can make you sick. Can make you sick, not just physically, but it can make you sick mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. It can make you sick. And then once you get over that sickness, you recognize that, there is a time and place for pleasure, but joy can be found in eating wholesome foods, foods that actually are going to satiate you and bring you value and, improve your life. So if you want God, wife, and family, practice long-term relationships. Look, I'd love to believe that the first or second or third relationship we have is the woman that, or it's probably not women watching this, but the woman that you be with for the rest of your life. Difficult in this modern landscape to navigate through. But I still don't believe that should have you deter to this kind of lower level boy psychology here. So I believe you should only entertain women who have the potential to be your wife. I think you should screen women. I really believe that you need to ascertain moral values and virtues before you even entertain the idea of dating. Seek women who have similar values and virtues to you. We talked about this, including the relationship dynamic. Being the masculine and feminine roles in the relationship, you should have a good communication, a good conversation on that. Practice communication, honesty, and loyalty. I mentioned before, it's about what you practice. If I go to the gym and I want to practice getting stronger, I will practice exercises that will meet that outcome. I'll do very, very low repetitions and very, very high weight. Doing high volume and low and low intensity is not going to help me get that outcome. If you want a wife, practice monogamy. Practice the values and virtues that are consistent with that. If you want to sleep with multiple women, practice promiscuity. Practice all the things that give you pleasure. Practice cold approach. Practice going to these or spending a lot of time in environments where inhibitions are low. So it's all practice. But gentlemen, these are just theories. These are just my ideas. This is just my beliefs in what I believe will bring you fulfillment and closer to God. And if you subscribe to that, you can subscribe to me and I'll bring you something else very, very soon. Take care.